it play and call it work.
Hey there guys, Quirk here, and welcome to the first episode of the Las Vegas Open vlog, where I'm going to be talking about my army, showing you guys me building it, working on it, painting it, and all the wonderful plans there. So in this video I'm going to go over what I have right now and the thing I'm going to try and carry it in. Recently got this in. It's a case from Table War. This is their Mark III display case. Basically the guys there sent essentially everything they possibly could in this crate, and I absolutely love it. Gonna show you kind of what it comes with and how I'm going to try and fit all of this in there, and then go over to kind of what I'm bringing and where I'm at so far with getting it ready. So starting off with the Table War case, when you get it, you can open it up here. So we'll just pop all these off. It's super secure, and just open up the front here. It's also nice because you can take this off, and now it's not in the way anymore. So many cases out there that don't do that. And then if you want to get super fancy, you can, you know, pop the top. There you go. Oh, super cool. Anyway, so they went ahead and sent me a bunch of different things. Essentially, the way a Table War case works is that it has a sliding display tray system. So everything kind of fits on these neat little shelves, and they all come with these nice little pre-cut center things that you can actually take the models from their base. If I have one, I will show you. Ha! Ugh. Okay, well, I'll show you anyway. Dirty toe. But they just fit, boop, right in there. So that's kind of cool. And then it's nice because it makes it super secure. And then if you wanted to as well, these do have a stainless steel backing on them on the bottom, which you can see right there. So you can magnetize your bases, and then you can magnetize your bases and they just stick right in place. So kind of cool there. A little bit of work to set them up, but once they are set up, they are absolutely gorgeous cases. What's also nice about these is that they come with these neat little shelves. Come here, little shelf that you can stick on the bottom, top, in the middle, kind of what I've done right here. And these are great for carrying things like your widgets, counters, objective markers, more widgets. And if push comes to shove, I think it can fit a rule book. Look at that. It can even fit a rule book in there. So you kind of put everything you need in this nice little shelf, stick on the bottom like I've done there, and you don't have to worry about that stuff falling out, getting lost, and you have a nice little safe place to put it. Whereas a lot of cases that I've seen have pockets and things like that, which are helpful, but I find with a lot of cases I find myself digging around, or they don't even have anywhere extra for you to put them. So it's another thing you got to carry around. Whereas this, everything's kind of included. Super awesome right there. The different trays that they went ahead and sent me, we've got some, let me see. We've got some 65mm circles, I think that's what these are. A couple 40s. Let me jump over to this one here. I went ahead and took one of the trays out because I'm already working on it. But we've got some oval bases for your bikes. We've got some 25mm. And then over here, whoop, we've got some 32mm and a couple 40mm, which is quite nice. And then on this one, we've got more 25mm, and I've already stuck a few things in here to kind of keep track of and not lose them, but these are some of the bases I'm going to be using for these models here. There's a reason I'm using these instead, but anyway, got all those trays. And then on top of that, they went ahead and sent me another shelf worth of stuff. Oh, so much stuff in here. So let me just move these out of the way for a second. Come here. Yeah, there we go. So this can stay over there for a minute. They also sent me a few things. We've got a couple tray toppers. So this is just something that can actually fit right on top of a tray. If I can find one here to show you. Let me jump over to one that's not full of stuff at the moment. There we go. Just pop this guy out. It's also nice because you can pop all these out individually. But so if you don't want to use the pre-made trays that are already cut out and spaced properly, you can take that out, and you can just put one of the flat tray toppers in there, and now you have a perfectly flat surface for whatever you want to put on if you need to. So if you've got some bigger models that won't actually fit in the case, but you want to display them with the top open like this, you can throw this on there and then just stick that in the tray, and it sits right there above the case, which is quite nice in itself. They went ahead and sent me a couple larger trays. So these are the double space fillers on a tray. If I can, come here, there we go. So as you can see, it's a double wide one where one of these can actually fit two of them. So side by side. Obviously the spaces are a little bit wonky on something like that. So they were thinking ahead and provide you with little space fillers. So you can go ahead and stick a space filler in there, and then put another tray down, and everything fits nice and snugly. And I have another one of these, which I will probably be using later on. And then we've got the full-size tray toppers for your trays. So a lot of neat stuff right there. A lot of work ahead of me. So you guys are going to get quite a bit of video out of me working on this. So let me just put everything back together. And let me get into what I plan on doing with this case. So, just move this over here. There we go. As you can see, a lot of stuff does fit in the case, which is quite nice. It's also nice because if you happen to put this on the table in between you and your opponent, it has a neat little cup holder on the side there. So you can go ahead and stick your energy drinks, pop, water, whatever you want in that cup holder. And stick it away when you're done. So let's take a look at these trays. This is one of the trays that I'm going to be using. I'm not going to be using this. I was nice enough to get a big old bag of spacers. So, I'll just show you what I got here. Wow, there we go. So all these spacers are individual ones that, for example, if I want to use the jet bikes, I can actually grab one of these on one of the flat trays like this, glue it into place wherever I want. So if I want one here and then I want to put a troop squad there, if I want to put a transport here and then a bunch of spacers for the troops, I can do that. Mask it over, put some filler on top so that it kind of fills itself in, and then make a nice display board, which is what I plan on doing with these, along with a few other neat little tricks and trades once I get working on that part. It's gonna take me a little while to get to that point, guys, so kind of bear with me as I'm working on it. You will see me working on this from time to time, but for the most part, it's gonna be kind of painting these miniatures and getting them all right and ready to go for the end of January. So, got some of those, got some smaller ones here. So I think these are the 50mm ones. Got some oval ones here. Got some 32, or sorry, these are 25s, some 32s, some 40s. So got a bunch of little spaces here so I can actually go ahead and design each and every one of these little trays to fit every unit with their transport specifically. So it's gonna look really cool when that gets all said and done. But that's pretty much everything I'm gonna cover about the case for now, because I'm gonna be jumping back and forth to the case throughout this vlog as I try and get it all prepped and ready. One of the neat little things that I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to pull off, I would love to be able to pull it off, so it's going to take a little bit of work there, is that these trays, if I was to use the dowel system there, are actually, they have a little bit of a divot in here. So if I pop this metal part out, you can see it almost looks like a picture frame, and you got this little bit of a dip in there where the dowels are, or sorry, the spacers are supposed to fit. So when a spacer fits in there, it makes it perfectly even. So what I want to do is I want to stick this in, and then I want to put a bunch of wiring through here so that I can actually set them up for LEDs. So when the models, not when the models are staying on it, but when I've got the models and everything on there, I can hook a battery up to it, and I can have little things like fires going or gems glowing or something like that, so that the entire tray's display case can actually glow on its own. So that's going to take a little bit of work, quite a bit of research, but hopefully I can figure out the specifics about it, and then once it's all said and done, it'll look really, really cool. But that's going to be it for the case for now. Let's jump over to the bases before I get to the models. Now, with this case, it's a little bit tricky to magnetize some of the GW bases because they do have a little bit of a spacer between the bottom of the base and where the actual model sits. So if you actually take one of the bases and flip it over, it's got kind of like a bowl concave type thing. Nothing against that. It's actually really cool for doing any wiring or stuff like that if you wanted to do any LEDs on the kit itself. But because I'm going to have to magnetize all of these, and magnetizing the bottom of the GW bases can be a little bit tricky at times, I went ahead and picked up a bunch of these bases. So they're just little pieces of MDF wood that are the exact size that I need. So these are the 25 mils, but the thing is they're completely solid, so it's going to be very easy for me to drill a hole in the bottom of this, stick a magnet in there, and it's going to be completely secured on all sides. So I don't have to worry about the magnets popping out as much. So that's the reason why I picked these up. Again, it's going to be a little bit tricky to kind of work these in with the case to make sure everything looks flush, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. So that's it for the case. That is a prep for the case and the display and everything like that. So we're gonna jump on over to all the models and miniatures and everything that I got. So here's where I'm at right now. Most of the stuff is already in the box. A couple of things here. I had Chris actually go ahead and give me some chrome spray on a lot of my, pardon me, I'm burping here, Skyweavers. So you can kind of see on there, I'll give you a close-up shot in a second here, but you can see all the front engine there and the back wings have this really, really nice, bright, shiny silver. This is to go along with the paint scheme that I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and have this be a really bright, almost mirror-like silver. Then I'm going to go ahead and take a stencil. Now, these stencils I picked up from Fallout Hobbies. So you can go ahead and check them out. It's fallouthobbies.com. They have a bunch of different vinyl stencils. I like them because they have a sticky side to them, so you actually stick them to the model to help you get all the little individual caves and crevices and whatever you need. I went ahead and picked up a Jester template, so it's got all the diamonds on there. I'm going to stick those on, spray it with a couple different reds to give it a nice deep red transition, and we're going to have a checker pattern, or not checker, a diamond pattern on here that goes from silver to red. And then I'm going to basically do everything else in black. So all the actual seating and the stuff behind it, all underneath it and stuff like that is going to be a nice dark black. But the actual engine cover itself and the back fins here are going to be silver and red. So that's going to be the kind of Harlequin design that I'm going for. I think it's chevron, I think is what the design's called, something like that. But anyway, that's where I'm at with this. And if you remember in the LVO announcement video, I said that I was going to be taking Eldar and Harlequins. Now, I'm a big fan of keeping everything kind of uniform and in a nice similar color scheme aspect, stuff like that. So as you can see, I've got a couple hemlocks here. Up here I've got a couple rangers. What I'm actually going to be doing with that is converting them up and throwing a bunch of Harlequin stuff on them. So on these ones already, what I've done is I've actually cut out, drilled out the face, the heads, everything like that, and switched them with the Harlequin masks, the Harlequin heads, stuff like that, so they actually look like Harlequins. And then what I've also gone ahead and done is painted them up in the Harlequin colors. I've only got one of them completely done so far. It does take a little while to do that chevron design, and especially when you're doing a model that's not really designed for something like that, it's a little bit tricky because you have to get that nice design in all of the tight spaces, like underneath the cloak and on the back of their gloves and stuff like that. So it's a little bit tricky, especially when they're covered in a cloak. But started working on them. That's where I'm at with them. And then what I've also got is a bunch of Star Weavers, 15 troops, well actually 18 troops because there's a box of 6, but each one has a troop master. I'm not sure yet if I'm taking the troop master in my list or not, because I'm kind of torn right now between, this is why I bought them actually. I'm torn between taking either a troop master or shadow seers. I can take a combination of both, but I'm a big fan of taking more than I need. So the plan that I had was doing the new stratagems that the Harlequins have available, where you can actually spend a command point and put 1 in deep strike, or you can spend 3 command points and put 2 units. My idea was taking a 5-man unit of troop, all with fusion pistols, and a shadow seer, drop them on the board wherever I need them, and then cast Twilight Pathways. They fly up the board, and now I'm within range to fire off any of them else. I'm also within 3 inches, so I get the 2 dice picking the highest for damage. That was my original thought, but then I started thinking, okay, well, why don't I just take 3 shadow seers and put them all in the back of the Star Weaver, and then turn 1, have 1 jump out, move the distance that they can, so I think it puts them 11 inches away from the vehicle, have the vehicle then jump ahead of them 3 inches, so now it's gone a total of 14 inches. Then cast Twilight Pathways on that, it gets to move again for a total distance of 30. The vehicle's open top, which means as long as they don't advance, the guys inside can fire, and now they've got the protection of -1 to hit, and a 4-up invuln well inside the vehicle. It's mostly that -1 to hit that I'm kind of relying on there. But it gives them the opportunity to kind of fly across the board whatever they need, and a little bit of armor for extra protection. It does mean that it's going to be a lot easier for people to surround those vehicles. Once they pop, I lose the unit inside. And the units are getting quite pricey because I had to actually dig up a couple extra fusion pistols so that everyone in my army can have one. This is kind of the kicker right here. A Harlequin troop box only actually comes with 2 fusion pistols and 2 Nero pistols. I need like 6 per box in order for all this to add up. So I went down and I asked Lee very, very nicely, begged and pleaded, and he was nice enough to give me a gigantic amount of fusion pistols. So now I think I'm only 2 short if I wanted to include it with the troop masters as well. So I have enough to do all 15. As if whether or not want to do the troop masters, I might be 1 or 2 shy there. But that's kind of where I'm at this point. The other thing I'm doing is, along with the stencils from Follow Hobbies, I also went ahead and ordered 2 LED kits. I ordered their thruster exhaust LED kit, I think is what it's called, and then I also ordered the 6 LED vehicle kit. And I ordered 2 of them, 2 of each, and they're going to be used in my hemlocks. So the hemlocks are going to have a glowing exhaust as well as all the lights and everything in the console. Because these kits come with fiber optics, I'm actually going to be able to drill out a couple holes in the console to make it look like the console's actually lighting up. Or pardon me, not look like, it will actually light up. It's not going to be an OSL effect, it's actually going to be a light, which is kind of cool right there. And then it also gives me the opportunity to kind of work around a lot of the gems that come on these and try and make those glow, as well as possibly the intakes, or even where the, what is it called? It's bothering me now. That is the Mind Shock Pod, that's what it is. So I'll be able to also have a glowing light behind the Mind Shock Pod, which is kind of cool right there. I was looking into trying to figure out a way to possibly use those tiny exhausts on the back of the jet bikes to make them look like they're glowing, or possibly even on the Star Weavers. The downside is that the Star Weavers and the Sky Weavers all have clear flying bases, which makes it incredibly difficult for me to fit a battery required on that size of base. So I'm kind of stuck with just doing them on the hemlocks for right now. If I'm able to find an LED kit that works on a smaller base, like something I can do on there, I'll look into picking that up, and that way I can make even basically everything that kind of goes on a flying stand or a flying base will light up, which I think would be kind of cool for an army like this. So, things that I still need to pick up. I need to get my hands on a Farseer and a Warlock. Not the most difficult things in the world to get, but I need to grab them. I'm also possibly thinking about taking some Dark Reapers. The reason I want to take Dark Reapers is because if I go up a list that does the exact same thing that I do, where it's all minuses all over the place to hit, it would be nice to have something aside from the Hemlocks actually getting those guaranteed hits. So if something has -2, normally everything's going to be hitting on 5s and 6s. Dark Reapers always hit on 3s. Kind of want to rely on that, and that way I can also throw Doom and Fortune with the Farseer. So, but those are my ideas right there. I've got Warlock giving out Conceal so they can give some stuff -1 to hit if I need to, like themselves, or my Rangers. I've got 2 more boxes of Rangers coming in, so I'm going to have a total of 15 Rangers on the board. I'm going to have 6 Skyweavers, 3 Star Weavers, 3 units of troops. Still torn between either I want the Troop Masters or the Shadow Seers. It's probably going to be a mix of both. Got my Hemlocks. Hopefully going to get my hands on some Dark Reapers, and I can alter the points a little bit to make everything fit. But that's where I'm at right now, guys. So in the next coming videos, you're going to see me actually sitting down with all this stuff and getting to work on it. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about right now is how on earth am I going to get you on a plane?